primary function, right? Of course, there's a lot of debate about that. Now, let's go back. Here we are in the prone position, all right? And Prone Savasana, it's one of those ancient yoga postures. In other words, it's not the hundreds, it's just the couple that say, if you spend time in this posture, your chakras will be balanced, and you will live the full natural term of your life in perfect health, and balance mentally, emotionally, and physically. And all you have to do is lay on your stomach. Well, I thought about that, and I thought, well, that's kind of pretty extreme on the benefit side for just laying on your stomach, right? It seems like that. But then I thought about it, and I actually came up with, there's actually a rationale for it. And it actually makes sense. I'll give you the high points of it real quick. 80% of the superficial lymph nodes are found on the front of the body. They're in the breast, chest, base of the neck, abdomen, and groin. Okay, 80%. Okay, 80% of those superficial lymph nodes. And by superficial, I mean the nodes that are accessible to external pressure. In other words, the nodes that you can actually directly influence with external pressure. All right? Now, we know from our basic studies of lymphology, okay, that the lymph system, unlike other circulatory systems in the body, has no organ of circulation. Okay, there is no pump. For example, we know for the blood supply, arterial and venous circulation is facilitated by the heart. Okay, and so there's the origin of the impetus for circulation. Well, the lymphatic system, equally as important as the blood system, okay, depending on what you're doing, maybe even more important in some areas, has no pump. But it is a circulatory system. Lymph nodes are essentially one-way valves. But even a one-way valve still needs to have pressure in order to activate the valve, okay, in order to keep promoting the motion of the lymph in and out of the capillary system toward the kidneys, toward the liver, toward the heart, etc. How does it circulate? Well, there is an indirect pumping mechanism, in that the greatest or the largest single reservoir of lymph fluid in the body is located in your chest. It's just about dead center behind your sternum, a little bit more to the left side, but it's essentially dead center under your sternum. It's highly protected. It's one of the reasons why we have the bone here, not just to protect the heart, okay? But slightly there, and it's located between the heart and the lungs. Okay, get it? So we got the heartbeat, and we've got the lungs, and between those two very complex rhythms, there is a continuous pressure wave of energy and sound, which is impacting systemically. Okay? That is the pressure that drives the primary fluid out of that reservoir, okay, to the thoracic inlets at the base of the throat. All right, it's the primary pressure. Now, then we've got all these other lymph nodes, which are around the breast, okay, for example. Okay, why are so many of the lymph nodes located in and around the breast? Okay, if the immune system is considered one of the very most important circulatory systems in the body, it's completely responsible for fighting every kind of infection. It's involved in inflammatory response, fighting infection, disease process, recovery, restoration, regeneration of cells and tissues, and so on. Why is half of it in your breast? Okay, because the breasts are considered superciliary, super ancillary or supercilious organs, okay, and maybe fashionable. Maybe sometimes they're referred to as secondary sex organs, and they're highly ritualized, okay, as objects, okay, objectified, etc., etc. But from the body's point of view, what are they really? From the body's point of view. If 99% of your life, like people always say, well, you know, that's where babies get milk from, that the purpose of the breast, the mammary glands, is produce milk for the offspring. Yeah, okay, it's on the list. Just like the purpose of a penis is to facilitate the flow of urine out of the body, but it's got other uses. Okay, Hopefully you know that. Okay, the breasts are no different. Yes, that is one of the uses, is to produce milk for the babies, okay? And actually, it's a two-way communication. If you've done any research, you know that, for example, when a baby suckles, okay, or stimulates the nipple, that actually there are chemical compounds produced in the brain, like melatonin, for example, and oxytocin, which actually are the highest free radical cancer-fighting agents that your body is capable of producing. How about that? And they are directly produced in the pineal gland, which triggers it as a result of stimulation of the nipples. Oh, I know I'm getting kinky. We've actually got free radicals, which are produced in the brain, which are the strongest cancer-fighting agents that your body is actually capable of producing. That the trigger mechanism for producing them is stimulation of your nipples. Oh, I've got the research. It's crazy. Okay? Now the other thing is, again, we're back to why is all that lymphatic tissue in the breast? It's got nothing to do with babies. Because how much of your life do you spend suckling babies? You know? Well, there might be the occasional, Kate plus 17 or whoever that apparently spends, 9 months of, 8 months out of the year nursing some children for 17 years. But I mean, as a general rule, how much time do you spend? How much time do you spend suckling babies? I'm just talking about women, for example, because women always get the burden of this exercise because the breasts are, quote unquote, considered more important for women than men. I mean, it's not true, but that's socially. That's biologically, it's not true, but socially, it is considered to be true. Okay. Well, the reason why is the breasts move. They're meant to move. They're meant to be mobile. They're meant to swing and compress and to elongate and to vibrate and to shake, which is auxiliary compressive motion propelling the movement of lymph into the axillary nodes of the armpits. All right? Now, all these nodes in and around the armpits now, okay? Well, what do we do with our arms? We flap our wings, right? And we move our arms, and we stretch our arms, and we pick up things, and we do all that. And then that picks up the motion, more compressive motion and vibration, and that sends the lymph down and out into other directions. And so at every stage, there's a mechanical operation that picks up the pressure waves started between the heart and the lungs to move and propel the lymph through each stage of the primary, secondary, and tertiary, ancillary lymph nodes, and through the little vessels that are its communication system. Okay, and by the time it gets into the abdomen, okay, for example, we've left the breast and now we're going into the abdomen, we pick up actually our digestive process. And between the peristalsis of the digestive system, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and the compression motion of the diaphragm, the psoas diaphragmatic complex, we now have another system of compression and vibration, which is both internal from breathing, because you should be breathing diaphragmatically, okay? And that part of the buzz you get when you do good pranayama is because you're actually stimulating the flow of lymph in your abdomen, okay? And then that gets into the groin, and now we have the next set of ancillary compressive motion and vibration, which is based on all the hip and pelvis motion of walking and squatting. And technically, you're supposed to squat when you go to the bathroom, but we don't because we live in the West and our toilets are thrones. Okay? But everywhere else in the world, people squat to evacuate and to eliminate. And when you squat, you compress the axillary nodes in your groin. Okay? When you go to the bathroom. Okay, and that's the last pressure wave that pushes that lymph down into the knees. Okay, so again, part of why we do yoga all together is because at each stage we get these compressive motions and emphasis, which is moving the lymph around the body. Okay,